All right, you can see where these rollers are on the other side. So the one thing you got to make sure you're paying attention to is when you're looking at the printer from the back, on the left-hand side, so all the way over to that side, there's going to be that bigger section of rollers, like I was mentioning. You have to have the roll on the edge of that side of the roll directly below one of those spaces. So this side of the roll here has to be somewhere in between this section. So if you have this side of the roll over here, the printer's not going to recognize the material being loaded. So it has to, this side of the roll has to be in between those two rollers. So that being said, this end of the roll has to be on one of these pieces. So the biggest thing to note here is that if you don't have the roll right directly in the middle or past the roller so you can hit the roll or the edge of the roll, let me start over. If you have the roll lined up right here, then you can put the roller on that side to catch the edge of the material. If you have the roll on this side of where that space is, then the roller isn't going to hit, or you're going to have an error pop up saying it can't find the roller, or pinch roller error. What we want to do though is try to have the end of the roll somewhere on there as close as possible, so that we can have that roller 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the material, so we're not wasting any material. So right now, if you can see this, we have this edge of the roll lined up directly on this edge. So we can put the roller on the other side right there, and we'll get the max width out of this roll that we can for printing. So when we set it up, when we push this through, that roller and the far roller are going to let the printer know how big our piece actually is. And that's what's going to tell the computer how big our piece is, and that's what it's going to print at. Otherwise, if we have it a little bit too small, say we put the roller here, we're actually losing this amount of material on the roll that we could be printing on. So we want to have the end roller way over here, which I'll show you on the other side here. So let's get this material loaded, and then I can show you on the other side where to place the rollers. So you want to try to line up those first before you switch over to the other side, because otherwise you have to, because right now you can move the roll back and forth to get it lined up. Otherwise you have to keep coming back and forth around the roll. So you're just going to take your clamp off, push it through. Sometimes you might get stuck. So if that happens, you're just going to pull down the lever. The lever is over here. This is the lever on the back side. So I just put that down so the wheels are now clamping so that it's not going to fall out on me. So now I can whip over to the other side. So going back a little bit though, if it's getting stuck, you can just try to push it as much as you can through, then hit the lever down, then hold the material on the other side, lift the roller wheels up, and then try to pull it through. So let's just hop around to the other side quick. Now I can show you this. I think this will be the best. Let me see if I can get further away. All right, so here we go. So now we have the furthest roller. So that's the roller when we were looking at the printer, that would have been the left side. We have that roller within that certain spot of rollers. So now on the front, you can see this little blue tag. You probably can't actually see that from how far away you are. So that roller has a blue little tag on it. This one doesn't, this one doesn't, and that one does. So the printer reads the ones with the blue on it. So you have to have that on the outside edges of your material. So as you can see, we have this one on this far edge, and then way over here, we have this one on that far edge. So see how we are only approximately 1/8 of an inch to maybe 1/4 of an inch away from the edge of the material. That's exactly where we want it to be. And then we want to put rollers in the middle. So we actually only have 2 here. So we want to add one more because this is a big piece. So so that the material stays flat as it's printing. So how to do that is you just lift up the roller, hold the material. You're gonna push this one over, and then there's rollers in the bucket up on top of the printer. You're just going to slide it in this red space, push it all the way in, and then slide it to the next available spot. If you have the roller off of the blue area, it's gonna throw you a pinch roller error code, so that you're gonna have to lift the rollers up, push this back into the blue section, and then reset up the printer. So now that we have that, we can lower the wheels, and then we can place the media clamps on, which should be on top of the printer. So these are the media clamps. This one shaped like this is gonna go on that side, and this one shaped like this is gonna go on that side. The reason for it is because it'll click in on these little plastic things and go around the roller. So once we click, you just push it in directly and see how it kind of shapes around that roller. So see how it's shaping there. This one, same thing. I'm just going to lift it up and click it in. So same thing, it's going over. If this is too far over this way and it's not catching the edge of the material, that's gonna catch on the printer and it's gonna wreck the heads of the printer. So we wanna make sure that this is nice and tight to the edge of the wheel. So the same, let's just check this one too. Make sure that that's nice and tight. We're good, and it should be on the material as much as possible. So now we are good to set up. So we're gonna just close this and we're gonna get ready for setup.